Maybe you've been thinking about making a change for a while, changing jobs, starting something new, moving in a completely different direction, and every time you actually sit down to take a step forward, it feels heavier than it should. So you spend more time thinking about it. You doom scroll, you get distracted, trying to figure it out, running through different scenarios in your head, going back and forth, and instead of getting clearer, it gets more complicated and harder to move. And eventually you just stop, because you're waiting for certainty to come before you can actually move. And most of the time, that certainty never comes. Here's the mistake that a lot of people don't see. You don't need more clarity before you can make a decision. It's the way that you're thinking about the decision that's making it feel heavier. There's a way of thinking that I've adopted that's really helped me and a lot of the people that I've worked with move forward faster. And it's called first principles thinking. And today I want to show you exactly how this works. Because most of the time when a decision feels heavy, it's not the decision itself, it's everything you've attached to it that's weighing it down. First principles thinking is simply just about the idea of separating what's actually true from everything else that you've layered on top of it. So let me show you what it looks like in real life. When I worked at the cemetery, I had a really stable setup, union job, good pay, benefits, seniority. On paper, made no sense to leave. But I started to feel this pull towards business. Like I wanted to build something, be in that world, and see what I was actually capable of. And at the same time, staying where I was started to feel like I was settling. Like I wasn't going to reach my potential if I stayed there. And when I thought about making that shift, it felt massive. I wasn't just thinking, try something new. I was thinking, what if I lose stability? What if I regret leaving? What if I fall behind? What if people look at me differently? What if I end up looking stupid for even trying? And then it went deeper. What if I'm not as capable as I think? What if I try and it proves everything I've quietly feared about myself is true? So the decision stopped being explore a new path. And it started feeling like I'm risking my position, my direction, and my belief in myself. And of course, I stayed stuck. But looking back, the part that made it feel so hard wasn't the move itself. It was everything that I attached to it. And this is where the shift happens. You're not just thinking about changing jobs. You're thinking, what if I lose something stable? What if I have to come back and I'm behind? What if I don't get it? What if I make the wrong move? And then it builds to the point where it doesn't feel like a decision anymore. It feels like a risk to your entire life direction. And when it feels like that, of course you're not going to move because you're not deciding anymore. You're protecting yourself. I remember when this started to shift for me. I was listening to a podcast and there was a line that stuck with me. When it feels scary to jump, that is exactly when you are supposed to do it. Otherwise, you'll remain in the same place forever. And that's when it clicked. The problem wasn't that I didn't have enough information. It was that I was waiting for the decision to feel certain before I tried. And that's the trap. Because certainty doesn't come first. So I slowed down and actually looked at it on paper. And most of what was making the decision feel heavy wasn't even real yet. It was everything that I was assuming would happen. Things like, if I leave, I'll fall behind. If I try this and it doesn't work, I've wasted my time. None of those were facts. What was actually true was simple. I didn't like where I was. I wanted something different. And there were other opportunities I could explore. Everything else, I was just adding. And this is where people get stuck. When you build decisions on assumptions, of course it's going to feel unstable because you're trying to solve something that doesn't actually exist yet. And once I separated what was real from everything else that I was just assuming, the decision stopped feeling so heavy. Clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking cleaner. So instead of asking, what's the right career move? What's the perfect next step? It became, what's one move that I can make without needing to know how this all plays out? For me, that looked like putting together a resume, reaching out to a couple of places, and starting those initial conversations. Not committing to a whole new life, just moving one step closer to it. So here's a simple exercise. If you're feeling stuck right now, I'd like you to try doing this. Take one thing that you've been overthinking about and ask yourself, what do I actually know is true? What am I assuming? And what's one step I can take based on what's true? So in the end, you don't need more certainty to start, because most of the time, certainty comes along the way as you start to move towards it. You're not behind. You're not incapable. You're just thinking inside of a set of assumptions you haven't questioned yet. So strip it down, find what's real, take one step from there. Thank you very much for your time.